Welcome back everyone. This is my comprehensive guide to animal taming in Once Human. Whether you're looking to bolster your base defenses or to farm resources unique to animals, the new taming system can provide useful resources and abilities for all of us to use. I'll be covering everything from unlocking taming in the skill tree to capturing, grading, and caring for your animals. I hope you find this video helpful, and thank you so much for watching. Now the new taming system allows us to bring the animals that you would be able to harvest in the wild to our base to make the grind process a little bit easier. These animals will provide both the resources that they would usually drop if you were to slaughter them or just farm them depending on the type of animal it is. And they could also, depending on the type of animal it is, defend your base. And you could also call those same animals that could defend your base to your side while you're out in the world. At the moment, we're only allowed to have 6 tameable animals. They will be able to add the ability to increase the level of animals that we are allowed to have through mimetic specializations. The devs did show this in their reveal of the animal taming system. It seemed as if there were a higher number of tameable animals in the video they displayed that are actually available currently, so I do expect to see that in the future. But as of right now, there are 16 animal variants that can be tamed. Most of these variants are variations of each other. So for example, a goat, there's the ram, there's the ewe. There's different variations of the same types of animals. There's a small bear, there's a big bear. So in reality, there's probably only around 4 to 5 tameable animals with different variations of those animals in between. The tameable animals that are in the game as of right now are the buck, doe, deerling, a small wolf and a regular wolf, rams, ewe, and lambs, small and big bears, small boars and big boars, small and big rabbits, small crocodiles, and regular crocodiles. It's important to note that all the corrupted variants of these animals are not tameable. So if you see a corrupted version of an alligator or a bear, don't try to tame it, you cannot tame those things. Now to get the ability to tame animals, there are 2 new skills in the mimetics tree under logistics right here. The first one, when you scroll down, will be animal capture. Animal capture gives you ability to have the tranquilizer throwing needles as well as a whistle. The needles allow you to put these animals to sleep once you're ready to catch them, and the whistle will allow you to call these animals to your side once you've tamed them. Now the second skill is the animal taming skill, which you will also need to tame your animals. It gives you the animal trough, where you'll be able to place the food and water for these animals, as well as different types of feeds that provide different benefits depending on the animal it is fed to. I'll be getting more into that later. Now let's get into the process of actually capturing these animals. First, you'll need to craft some tranquilizer throwing needles at your advanced supplies workbench. This is the tool that you need in order to be able to put these animals to sleep. Without it, you will not be able to capture anything. Needles are pretty easy to make. You only need steel ingots, engineering plastic, rubber, and a bit of stardust source. Now, when it comes to weapons, because you will need to hurt these animals a bit to be able to capture them, and I'll show you what I mean in a second. But before you actually go to hunt your preferred animal, keep in mind that you should probably bring something that's not going to kill them right away. Depending on the type of animal it is, they'll be able to dish out more damage. So for example, a bear or a crocodile could handle a few bullets from, like, let's say a pistol or a machine gun, while a deer will probably instantly die from such a weapon. So if you were going to hunt, let's say, smaller animals such as rabbits or deer, I would recommend bringing something weaker, maybe a crossbow perhaps, in order to wear them down. Now when it comes to actually hunting these animals, the first thing you're going to want to take a look at once you find the animal you want is their health bar. As you can see here, there's a little white marker. That marker indicates the level of health that the animal needs to be at in order for it to be capturable. Once you find the animal, make sure you have the right weapon to deal with it so it doesn't die instantly, and you just whittle it down. Also keep in mind that you're going to want to have your needles already equipped so you don't have to struggle. Once it's down to a low enough level, you throw your needle at it and it will fall asleep. All you got to do is walk up to it and press F to capture. It will go immediately into your inventory. These animals do weigh a ton, so keep in mind, make sure your overall load is low enough to manage actually holding these animals and carrying them around so you're not completely over encumbered. Now when you look at these animals, you'll see their grading once you take a look at them in your inventory. Those grades will determine how good of an animal that is and how beneficial it will be. The higher the grade, the more characterization tameness traits you can unlock once you reach the certain level of tameness. So you can see that there's 3 of them. The first one will unlock at 20. You'll get their special abilities. If you get an animal that you don't like and it's weighing you down, you could always just discard it and drop it onto the floor. Now, if you're wondering where on the map you could find certain animals, I will be providing a link to a picture or pictures that will show different areas and different kinds of animals that you could find in there, as well as a chart to better explain which animals are where. If you're wondering where to find bears and that's all you care about as of right now, which I feel you because I was the same way as soon as I found out about this, I could find bears right around here in this area of the map. The further over you go, the more you'll find. You'll find even more corrupted bears as well there, so I'll keep an eye out for that. But if all you care about is bears, this is definitely one area you could find. There are other areas in the game you can find bears, but as of right now, I know for a fact that you can find them right here. Now I'm going to explain how to actually tame these animals. And there's a trick to containing them, right? Depending on the size of the animal, you're going to want to create a walled off area in order to keep it safe and secure, because if the animal tameness level is low, they will attempt to run away, and they will also immediately attack you, especially if they're an aggressive animal. So keep in mind, if you caught a bear, it will attack you right after you put it down. So make sure you put it down in an area you've already created for it specifically to house those animals. Now also, it's important to note that you do not want to keep more than one animal in the same contained area. They will fight each other too, especially if they're aggressive, and you'll just come back to your pen or your little farm and see that the animals you've captured have slaughtered each other, and there's only like one left standing. They will also attack the structures in which you've built sometimes in order to escape. So something helpful to have is a paper doll deviation, because it constantly repairs structures that have been damaged. But most of the time, especially if you have concrete stuff, that doesn't damage it enough for it to break. I haven't ever seen these walls break on the bear or anything else that I've farmed, so that's a good thing. Another thing to note too is don't try to create a pen or it's like a house or something. Like, I know I was first tempted to create a type of barn structure to keep all my animals inside of, but if you have only regular walls all around it and foundations underneath it, as of right now, these animals will no clip through them all the time. I had a really big area, just like a farm, essentially a farm building for the bear, and it just continuously over and over and over again would just glitch out. It would glitch onto the roof, it would glitch underneath the foundation, it would glitch through the walls. It was very frustrating. I found that this is a much more stable environment for the bears to make sure it doesn't wander everywhere or escape. Also, the bear won't escape right away. If you keep the tameness level low, these animals won't escape right away. It will take some time. Even if you find them wandering around the base, it's not like they will actually leave right away. It's only if you don't take care of it for long periods of time that they'll actually try to leave. So let's talk about the animal trough. You have to place it on a foundation, which is why I have one here. You can't just place it on the ground willy-nilly. You also have to make sure it's just on the floor. Don't put it on top of anything or whatever. Don't put it inside of the fence either, because it'll glitch out the animal and they will not be able to access the food that's within. So when you open up the trough, it's just like any other container in order to store things. You could put in your food, you could put in your water. It'll automatically eat from it over time, so you don't have to worry about like trying to force it to do that. If you don't see it doing it right away, give it some time, it'll eventually eat it. Now, every animal has its preferred foods, right? The bear, for example, has a preferred diet of fish, grass, fruits, and vegetables. And it even tells me the favorite foods of the animals, this one being fish. Now, not every animal needs feed that you can make. It doesn't need the pellets or what have you. Like for the bear, for example, all you gotta do is capture some fish to go fishing and just put the fish raw and cooked into the trough and it will eat it. However, if you put food in there that it does not eat, so if you have an animal that has a specific food that it does not eat at all, like I'm pretty sure wolves don't eat grass, then it will just ignore it. Its hunger will go down, its tameness will go down. So for the foods that you can create to tame your different animals, the first one I'm gonna go over is a meat pellet feed. This one's very simple to make. You just need different types of meat, and that's basically it. All it really does is it boosts the taming stuff and the sanity, about providing energy to your animal. But these types of foods are really only for animals that like meat. It wouldn't really work on an animal like, let's say, a rabbit, or who eats mostly like greens. And they actually do have feed for animals like that as well. So here's the herbal green feed for animals that prefer herbs. There's also the grain feed for animals that prefer grain, which I'm assuming would be much like a sheep or a deer. And we also have the body boost feed. Now this one is important. This one's an important feed because it does more than just increase tameness and take care of the animal. It actually boosts the physical functions and raises all its attributes to level 50. So it'll instantly max out the level of your animal. If you're, let's say, trying to use it for base defense or for attacking, this would be really good in order to boost those stats. However, keep in mind that this feed requires not just Stardust Source, but 2 different types of deviated crops, saffron and morel. Another important thing to remember too when making your area for the animals is not to have it too close to any types of defenses that are active. So I had a gravitational grip that was pretty close to this fence when I had first placed this down, that just kept going off every time the bear would get near it. It will damage the bear no matter what kind of trap it is. You want to keep that in mind, because you don't want to have to deal with just all your animals getting attacked all the time. Another thing to note is the sex of the animals. It's available, you can see it as of right now. It'll show you what kind of gender it is, but as of the current update, there is no breeding system yet. But they will be introducing it very soon, and once that comes out, I'll have a whole guide covering that as well. The feed that you can make the animals are expirable. You can put them into the freezer in order to keep them prolonged and maintained for a long period of time. It actually increases it by a lot. I think it increases up to 20 something days. So if you have a lot of feed, but you don't want it to all spoil, you could put it in there. Another tidbit of information is you could see what kind of resources and benefits that the animal will provide you at the bottom of its stats window. It says here that this animal can provide the hides from killing other animals that might be wandering into the base. Thanks for tuning in and watching my comprehensive guide to animal taming. I hope this video helps you make the most out of your farm animals. If you found this guide helpful, please hit that like button and consider subscribing for more Once Human content. Also, don't forget to join my community on Twitch as well as my Discord server. We're always open and willing to help out if you have any questions on the game itself. Links will be in the description. Until next time, happy taming, and I'll see you in the next video.